All right, we're ready. I'm ready.
All right, Ben, you're starting.
I said the title?
Yep.
Paul Revere's Ride by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April in '75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year.
He said to his friend, if the British march by land or sea from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church Tower as a signal light. One if by land and two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm to every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up into arms.
Then he said goodnight with muffled oar, silently rowed to the Charlestown shore. Just as the moon rose over the bay, where swinging wide at her moorings lay the Somerset British man of war. Phantom ship with each mast and spar, across the moon like a prison bar, and a huge black hulk that was magnified by its own reflection in the tide.
Meanwhile, his friend through alien strait wanders and watches with eager ears, till in the silence around him he hears the muster of men at the barrack door, the sound of arms and the tramp of feet, and the measured tread of the grenadiers marching down to their boats on the shore.
Then he climbed the tower of the old North Church by the wooden stairs with stealthy tread to the belfry chamber overhead, and startled the pigeons from their perch on the somber rafters that round him made masses and moving shapes of shade, by the trembling ladder steep and tall, the highest window in the wall, where he paused to listen and look down a moment on the roofs of the town, and the moonlight flowing over all.
Beneath in the churchyards lay the dead in their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in silence so deep and still that he could hear like a sentinel's tread the watchful night wind as it went, creeping along from tent to tent and seeming to whisper, all is well. A moment only he feels a spell, the place and the hour and the secret dread of the lonely belfry and the dead, for suddenly all thoughts are bent on a shadowy something far away, where the river widens to meet the bay, a line of black that bends and floats on the rising tide like a band of boats.
Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, booted and spurred with heavy stride, on the opposite shore walked Paul Revere. Now he patted his horse's saddle, and gazed at the landscape far and near. Then impetuous stamped the earth, and turned and tightened his saddle girth, but mostly watched with eager search the belfry tower of the old North Church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely and spectral and somber and still. And lo, as he looked through the gloom and the light, the fate of a nation was riding that night. The dark spark struck up by the steed in his feet.
And lo, as he looks on the belfry's height.
And lo, as he looks on the belfry's height, a glimmer and then a gleam of light. He springs to the saddle, the bridle he turns, but lingers and gazes till full in his sight of the second lamp in the belfry door.
A hurry of hoofs of the village street, a shape in the moonlight, a bulk in the dark, and beneath in the petals and passing spark, struck out by a steed flying fearless and fleet. That was all, yet through the gloom and the light, the fate of a nation was riding that night, and the spark struck out by the steed in its flight, kindled the land into flame with its sea. Now he's left the village and mounted the steed, and beneath, tranquil and broad and deep, is the mystic meeting the ocean tide, and under the alders that skirted sedge, now soft in the sand, now loud on the ledge, is heard the tramp of the steed as he rides.
It was 12 by the village clock when he came to when he crossed the bridge to Lexington, into Medford town. He heard the crowing of the cock and the barking of the farmer's dog, and felt the damp of the river fall that rises after the sun goes down.
It was 1 by the village clock when he galloped into Lexington and saw the gilded weathercock swim in the moonlight as he passed, and the meeting house windows, black and bare, gazed at him with a spectral glare, as if there he stood aghast at the bloody work they would look upon.
It was 2 by the village clock when he came to the bridge in Concord town. He heard the bleating of the flock and the twitter of birds among the trees, and felt the breath of the morning breeze blowing over the meadow ground. And one was safe and asleep in his bed, who at the bridge would be first to fall, who that day would be lying dead, pierced by British musket ball.
You know the rest in the books you have read, how the British regulars fired and fled, how the farmers gave them ball for ball behind each fence and farmyard wall, chasing the redcoats down the lane, and crossing the field to emerge again under the trees at the turn of the road, and only pausing to fire and load.
So through the night rode Paul Revere, and so through the night went his cry of alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, a cry of defiance and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore. For born on the night wind of the past, from all our history to the last. In the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people shall waken and listen to hear the hurrying hoofbeats of that steed, the midnight message of Paul Revere.
Woohoo! Excellent, boys.
Good job.
5th grade. Great.